Hi, I am Liquid with Ermin, and this is my channel. I am going to be talking about why I love and hate world building. Let's start with the reasons I love world building. I love the act of fleshing out a completely new world and learning everything there is to learn about it. I love drawing maps, and I love creating these spaces that don't necessarily exist in the normal world. One of my favorite stories to write is the supernatural fantasy stories, because I love creating worlds that just defy logic, because it's my world and I can. I try to stay within the laws of physics in general, but I don't always do that. World building can be therapeutic for me. As someone with anxiety, having completely control over something really helps calm me down whenever I'm having a really bad day. And sometimes the only thing I have complete control over is my books and my writing and the worlds that I create. And that really helps me to deal with adulting, because it's kind of hard sometimes. And it's not something that just helps me with my anxiety, it's something that helps me with my writing in general, because the bane of the existence of all writers is writer's block. And that guilt of whenever you are trying to complete a story and you just want to get it done, and you feel bad if you don't work on it, and you feel like you're accomplishing nothing even if you've written 50,000 words beforehand. It's not done, and it's irritating you, and you feel useless for not completing it and not getting it done. World building has really helped me move past that and helped me get over writer's block more often than not. Because with world building, if I'm stuck on a chapter or a scene and I don't know what I want to happen, or I know what I want to happen but I just don't know how to get there for whatever reason, I can go focus on another part of my world that I haven't paid a lot of attention to and flesh that part of the world out, and just giving my mind a break from working on the thing that has me blocked can so often help me to figure it out just subconsciously and work on it and still accomplish something with my book, even if I don't overcome whatever is blocking me for a week. I have still accomplished something with my book. I have still worked out another part of my book that I won't have to worry about now because it's already done. And that's something I love. I love feeling accomplished at the end of the day, even if I don't make any real measurable progress in my story. Reasons I hate world building. World building can be very stressful because it's very easy to get dragged down the rabbit hole whenever you are world building, because you'll start to focus on things that don't really matter to your story, and it can really bog you down, and you feel like, well, if I'm world building, then this is something that it's something I as the writer need to know, even if my characters or my readers never figure it out. This is something I need to know for this, and this reasons. Something as significant as if a world has a taxi service and how that taxi service would work. You'd be surprised how easy it is to get hung up on that in a story, even if it has nothing to do with your storyline, because world building is fun, and it's the fun part. Writing is the hard part. World building is the fun part. And it's just very easy to get distracted. Writers are like that. We can go off on a 10-15 minute tangent about something that doesn't even make any sense to what we were talking about before, but we're writers and we're gonna do it. So you need to be careful when world building, because you'll get pulled down that black hole. and then you'll never get out like a month later. Something else that I really hate about world building is sometimes when I've worked really hard on a book and world building and outlining and all of that together, and I've figured out every aspect of my book, I lose interest with actually writing it because all of the fun parts are over. The figuring out who did what and why and what would stop them from doing it and what would let them do it and who needs to be there to give this information or that information. That's all stuff that I love learning about in the moment whenever I'm writing, which is difficult to do whenever you've already world built and you have everything figured out. I use world building as an overarching term for, just generally building your world, but also building your plot and your outline and all of that. That is all world building to me. It might not be to most people, but it is to me. That's how I think about it. And I do all of that at the same time, more often than not. And that's usually when I start to lose interest. More than once, I have had to put a book down for a couple of months and then work on something else and get my mind completely off of it because I've lost all interest in it at that moment. I have never put a book down and completely abandoned it. Ever. Not that I don't think that that's a thing that should happen with some things, but it's just not something that I have ever had to do. But like I said, I have written mostly for myself my entire life. It wasn't until the past year or two that I really started to work towards making writing my career as opposed to just my hobby. So sometimes I have to put my books down for quite a while, even if it's a couple years, until something about that story sparks my interest again and I can go back and work on it. But then the world building and plotting and outlining and all that comes in so handy because all of the fun / hard part is over and now I can just sit down and write. Even if, as a plantser, someone who plans and then decides to just pants afterwards, even as someone who does that, it still is incredibly helpful to know that I have all of the work done. Now I just have to figure out how to put it together and how to express these characters in a way that makes them interesting and entertaining and something that someone other than me would want to read. But don't let the things that I hate about world building discourage you from world building. Your worlds can be as intricate or as simplistic as you want them to be. That's the point. It's your world. It's your character's home. It's your book. You are going to write a book that's going to be completely different than the book that I write, even if we sat down with the exact same premise and the exact same amount of time with the same characters, the same personality traits. The book would still be different because the book is a way to escape from reality, and everyone is going to escape from reality in a different way. And that's what makes it so much fun. That's what makes being a writer or even just a reader so much fun, and why so many people do it and so many people love it and think about it all the time. It's because for the 8 hours that you're reading, or the 300 hours you put into writing this book, you get to be a different person, and you get to experience and walk through another walk of life that isn't something that you would get to do yourself. And you should never let anyone or anything discourage you from exploring that to the fullest. But if you like this video, comment and subscribe, and I really look forward to hearing from you. Let me know why you love or hate world building. What's your favorite aspect of world building? And what advice would you give to someone who was trying to build a world? Someone who was having a problem with a book? What advice would you give? But thanks for coming to see me, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.